All right, hi everybody. I think we have a quorum here, so we can go ahead and get started. Thanks everybody for joining this morning or afternoon, wherever you are. So this is going to be our webinar on BeHive, our staff communication and safety application. All right, let's get started. So what we deliver, what is BeHive? So BeHive is a staff communication application. It provides employee safety and panic alerting and provides notifications to first responders, vendor access, and real-time location support with beacons and API integration. So let's get started and show you BeHive. Here are some of the main features that BeHive has. Event management, so task creation, task alerting. You can create tasks within BeHive and assign them to users, just as a high level. And contact management, so your users can be assigned roles, you can invite users, you can have guest or vendor management. So if you want to have a guest user, depending on where or what industry you're using it as, in hospitality, let's say hotel guests. Some of our integrated communications are, we have push to talk, which is what used to be your walkie-talkie feature. It's a two-way radio. We have location awareness, E911 notifications, voice and video calling through the application from each user. For messaging, we have panic messaging, and then we also have direct and group messaging. So you can either have a one-on-one conversation or send out a message to a whole group or department, however you want to split out your departments. And we have workspaces, so you can optimize your workspace communication as well. So go into a little more detail here. All right, so one of our favorite features is enhanced push to talk, where we used to have walkie-talkies, and that is how the employees used to communicate with each other. We have a walkie-talkie system here, which is with our enhanced push to talk. So I'll go ahead and demo this after, but just on a high level, what you can do is your conversations, rather than being two-way and immediate fire and miss as it was before with walkie-talkies, everything here that you use to push to talk to any single employee or workspace department is recorded, and that way you can go back and re-listen to it, or if you didn't have great service at the time, you can listen to it after, as soon as you come into Wi-Fi or get better service. Every message is recorded, so you won't be missing anything. Also with push to talk, it's super easy. If you have certain people or certain departments that you push to talk to more frequently than you do others, you can also add them to your favorites list, which is what this first screen here is showing. So you can just, click the button. If you depress it for a second, and this will pop up, your little tree will pop up, and it'll have all your favorites there. And then you can push and hold to push to talk to either one of the favorites. So it can be single users, or it can be workspaces as well. And we do also support third-party headsets and accessories for push-to-talk, and we'll get into that in a little bit. So our next feature here is group and personal messaging. So just as you would on your regular phone, send text messages, photo messages, voice messages, you can do that here. So if you do want to, for personal messaging, you can go to any employee or any member, click on them, and it'll open up your chat with them. And here it will have everything saved. So any push to talks you've had with this person, or any messages you sent back and forth will all be here in this chat. But you can also chat with, the picture here shows, let's say, front desk. So the front desk is a workspace that we have. So you can go ahead and do group messaging by clicking on front desk, and everything again will be saved there. So any push to talk messages or any conversation that's gone on within this chat will be in this screen, and you can find it there. We also have panic messaging, which we'll get more further into in a bit, but if you have panic messaging set up to be sent to a certain workspace, you'll also see those panic messages in the screen as well. So I think this is a good place to go ahead and demo the push-to-talk and group messaging. So let me just do a little live demo for you guys. All right, so here we have, here I have two of our phones set up, and hopefully everybody can see it well. So this would be how you bring up your tree. You just tap on the little push-to-talk icon, and on one of them I already have favorites set up, and on the other I've left it blank. So just to add any favorites, simply click on one of the plus signs, and you can either add a workspace or a contact. So once you do that, it's really easy to just, there you go, and they're added. So to push to talk through your favorites, again, you click open the push to talk button, and you can, once you press on the icon, testing 1 2, testing 1 2, testing 1 2. All right, and it'll be sent over to the user who you sent this to, and I sent this to Lauren Atkins. And as you can see, we've had conversations before, and those are saved as well. So if you come here and press play, you can hear that as many times as you'd like, or not, and that'll always be saved there for you to go ahead and listen to later, if in case you don't have service or you're off of Wi-Fi and you do come into Wi-Fi and get service, you don't miss anything. You can also message or push to talk to users by going to your chat screen, which I have here, and the same button is here, and it'll go personally to just this user. Okay, and then we also have Workspaces here, which you can see. So we have housekeeping, concierge, front desk, and certain others. And as you can see, you can assign people to different workspaces. That's why not everybody's screen would look the same. So if I go into our housekeeping workspace, I can also push to talk here the same way as I would in any personal chat screen. All right, and then we can move on to messaging. So this is our messaging screen. So once you tap on messaging, you can click into your messages with any person, or through Workspaces. If you click Workspaces, same idea there. Here you see that it has our past conversation, it has our past push to talks that I can still play at any time. And just as you would any other application to send messages, you can text, send messages. You can also send photos, take a photo, choose an existing photo, and go from there. And the user on the other receiving end will receive a notification, and you can continue conversation from there. All right, so now that we have that, let me move on to the next part of our slides. All right. So our next feature that we're going to go over is group voice conferencing. So you're able to call into a group or workspace and have a conversation rather than adding all individuals. You're able to go ahead into the workspace and click the call button, which you can see here, and it'll start a conference call with everybody who is in that group, and all users can do the same thing, call, and it'll dial them into this conference bridge. This is very helpful, just so you don't have to, if you want to push, if you have more to say than rather what you could push to talk, you can just, start a call and you can voice conference simultaneously with up to 250 people. And along with that, we also have private video calling. So you can, some may know FaceTime or any other type of video calling, same concept here. Let's say you have a employee who needs a little help and can't find something and they've been assigned a task. They can go ahead and give a call, and rather than describing where everything is, how to find it, you can go ahead and use this and do a video call and kind of flip the screen, and conveniently you can have one-on-one video, and it's very helpful for employees to find what they're looking for with this. And I'll go ahead and demo that as well right now. Just bring up our phones here. All right, so there are a few ways that you can go into and start a video call. You can go to your contacts. So this is your contacts. You can go into your contacts and it'll give you a option here. So there's three. One is the messaging, one is personal voice calling, and the other one is the little camera option is our video calling. So same way, you receive the call on the other end, accept, and this is our video calling. So, you can mute, you can flip camera, and kind of show anything that you want on your end. So that way. And another way to get into it is if you're in a personal message, talking to somebody, you can also give them a call by tapping, again, either the phone icon, which will do a voice call, or the camera icon at the top corner, which will, again, start a video call just as we showed before. And if you go to Workspaces and you want to start a conference call with a workspace, I can go into our concierge workspace here and tap the phone icon, and it'll start a call. And all the users will be getting it. And all the users will get it and are able to join the call, or either by picking up, or if they miss the call, they're able to call in and connect to the call again as well. And all up to 250 users can be on a call simultaneously at every time. All right. Let's move on. All right, moving on to our next feature. Again, this is Workspaces, Workspace Communications. So you're able to send messages and push-to-talk messages like I showed before. In our Workspaces, we do always have a dedicated emergency workspace, which you can see up top here. And by default, as soon as you add any users to BeHive, they are added to our emergency workspace, and that way any panic alerting or emergency alerts that need to go out to everybody who is in the hive will receive it if you send it to the emergency workspace. You can also, with Workspaces, you're not committed to one. You can join or remove yourself from Workspaces, or remove other users from Workspaces at any times. And also, if you want to not receive notifications from a workspace at any time, you can also mute the workspace, which is very helpful. So you're not getting notifications at all times, but you're still part of the workspace. Our integrated task management system is actually a great feature that we have on BeHive, and I'll go ahead and demo that as well. So with our task management, you're able to, managers or supervisors alike are able to go in and create tasks, assigning them to either a either any one person or to a whole workspace. So that way, if you have a department anybody from that department can pick up the task and go work on this, you don't have to assign it to any single person as well. And I'll demo tasks right now. All right, so this is our task screen. As you can see, we have one from previous up here, but to create a task, you click on the little plus icon, and it'll pop up with a create a task. So you can add a description. Just make a test task. And what's great about this feature is also we have locations enabled. So let's say if, for instance, in hospitality, if it's a certain location or a certain hotel, you can go ahead and click location and either enter an address, or let's say if you are at the location, you can just go ahead and click save, and it'll save to your current location as well. And any additional location info, so maybe a floor number, door number, wherever it may be. And then in assigning this to workspaces, you can click on workspaces and you have access to assigning it to any workspace. You can also assign to multiple workspaces. So if I was to assign this to housekeeping, anybody in the housekeeping workspace who is a member can go in and see this task. And once they actually arrive at the location, they'll get a pop-up on their screen that asks them if they want to check in to the task and start the task. And once they are done, they can go into the task again and check out of the task and mark it as complete. So I can also, if I wanted to, assign it to a certain user as well. And also to yourself. And then also you can add a due date. So if you want to add a task in here that's not, immediate or is within a week or whatever date it actually may be, you can go ahead and do that and assign a time that it needs to be done and date and add that, and it won't pop up on anybody's screen until that it is that day. And you can also assign priority levels, so high, medium, and low, just so the user knows or the assignee knows the priority of this. And we also have, let's say if you need to add a photo or if you need to add a photo to the task, you can go ahead and do that as well by clicking on the images and either take a photo or add an existing photo. And then create. And the task has been created. And since I assigned it to myself and I am at my location, a pop-up will pop up on my screen asking me since I have reached this location and there is a task, do I want to check into this task? And that way I can check in. And say once the task is completed, click on the little ellipses here, I can complete task and check out. And that way all users who are part of the workspace will know that this task has been completed, and so will the person who had created the task. All right, and that's our task management. We can move on here. All right, one of the great features about BeHive is our safety and alerting feature. So we're able to connect to third-party devices, third-party panic devices, in order for all employees to have, rather than dialing 911, it might take a longer time. We do have panic buttons, or some companies may already have something in place, and we're able to connect to third party as well. So it's really great is you can set up your panic, whichever panic device you are using, you can set that up in order for once it's depressed or once someone sends out a panic notification by clicking the panic button, a notification will be sent to the workspace that panic has been assigned to, and whoever is in that workspace will receive this notification, and it will let you know, just like in this slide right here, that you know, Maria has generated a panic alert. You can click into that and get their last GPS location or their last check-in location, and help will be on its way as soon, however your company decides that it wants to go about that. And also we have Steve Norris here on the phone, who's going to go ahead and speak a little bit more in detail to the next few slides. Steve?
Good morning, or good afternoon for the folks on the East Coast. Go ahead and go to the next slide. Go ahead and click it. So here's how the staff alerting works. Essentially, like Romina mentioned, we either use our own panic device or we work with third parties like PwC, staff, Track and Protect, Risk2Flow. A lot of different ones are out there nowadays. We capture the event, the trigger being pressed. We assess, the system, third-party system assesses the location, and then passes that down to us. And then we're able to send it to the dispatch, which is looking at a PC version of the product for seeing all the different alerts and being processed into the various work groups, as well as sent to the mobile app, which might be the security officers that are roaming around the hotel, or even off-site security companies that were hired to monitor panic. In some cities, it's required for them to always be manning panic alerts. So that's kind of what we're up to with the panic alerting and communications. Then from here, we call it the common operating picture. And the idea here is that panic events might be going on in hotels, as well as 911 events might be going on. A lot of different things go on in hotels when emergencies are in progress. And so BeHive and our other systems like BroadWorks, if we're deployed there, we'll be able to communicate into the BeHive environment, creating what we call a common operating picture. And so we can get information to the various work groups as needed. Some of those work groups will be internal to the hotel, and they'll see certain views of the workspace, which is very proprietary to the hotel. But some of them could be expanded to first responders, and the first responders we call jacking into the hotel with a code, and then they are able to be put into a first responder group. So back of house or security folks that are in the hotel communicate more effectively with outside first responders, whether that's Metro, fire, EMTs, who typically get a donor phone when they arrive at the hotel. So we're trying to shorten that response time by using BeHive correlated with all the other information flow. Go ahead, next slide, please. And this gets into the mass notification and interactive roll call. Essentially, another feature of BeHive is the ability for employees during a emergency of some sort to be able to check in, and then from the dashboards, the security folks or anybody that has access in the management team will be able to see what employees are checked in, what location they're checked in, and if they're checked in safe, monitor, and some type of emergency. Likewise, or in addition to, the first management or security can send out mass notification to various groups or to company-wide on the nature of the emergency, the rally point, where to go to, those type of things. For each emergency action plan, sometimes there's different protocols that need to be followed. And so sometimes a nice reminder being sent on, hey, here's where you go during this type of an active shooter or a power outage or a bomb threat is when it's underway. Next slide. And this slide talks a little bit about where we're going with BeHive. And what we're getting to, the great thing about being in the industry, and this is what even back from my days at BroadSoft, is everybody was always asking, hey, this silo of hosted PBX, how do I get it to communicate with all the people that don't have phones? So a lot of folks are calling them the deskless phones, or people are on radios, maybe they're on nothing, maybe they're using house phones. The goal is, how do I start to communicate with all these frontline workers or these deskless phone workers to basically bridge these two siloed workforces? And so because BroadSoft is going in, our BroadSoft solutions, now Cisco, are going in, and SIP trunking is going into a lot of the hotels and enterprise accounts, we're able to build a BeHive environment that will go right alongside it and connect the two different users. So you could call from one user can call BroadWorks users in our system. So our hosted PBX users and our hosted PBX users can call the BeHive users. You could do group conference calls, and some of those would be BroadWorks users and some of them would be BeHive users. And so bridging this gap, as well as 911 events that are going off in our BroadWorks implementations, those notifications will go over to our BeHive environments or Workspace, so folks are notified of the 911 event that's in progress. So not to mention, like with our natural language AI and operators, how these two systems will start to work together in addition to. So the bridging of these environments is really kind of the direction that we're been heading and will continue to be heading in 2019. So stay tuned. These will be additional applications. And the cool thing is this is going to be something that's not really well done in the industry today. Today, you know, whether it's radios that are trying to be replaced or push-to-talk devices on just simple push-to-talk that's on cell phones, a lot of these things don't work with back-of-house phones, and they surely don't work with the PBX or other systems. So we really believe this is going to be a first of the industry, first of the kind in the industry. And we look forward to working with all the partners to kind of roll this out and make this a part of every rollout you do with your hosted PBX and SIP trunking implementations. So, Romina?
All right, thank you. All right, thanks, Steve, for going over that. And we've reached the end of our presentation, but I would like to go ahead and open up the floor for any questions that you guys may have. I do see one already. Give me 1 second. All right, so I see we have a question here from Rick. Do regular conference bridge usage fees apply? No, there is no fees. There are no fees to this using this type of conference bridge. We're not using BroadWorks conferencing, so no fees. All right, if anybody else has any questions, you can go ahead and ask them now. All right, I see another question here. When is this available and what licensing is needed?
Hey guys, this is Eric in Product Management. So BeHive is now available. At this moment, there are no additional licenses required. So if you guys are interested, please talk to your Blue IP sales manager. You can also download this from the Apple App Store. Try it out. So again, it is available now.
And you can download this in your Apple App Store or Android Play Store, and there's a desktop version of the application as well, and web. Yes, there. Okay, so sorry about that. So the next question is there any current documentation on the PRC? Yes, we'll be adding the documentation onto our website. We'll go ahead and send out the link to that as well after this call, and the documentation will all be found there, user guides and how to use the application itself and everything you need to know.
So we have multiple.
Okay, and I see someone is asking how is it sold per user. We do have multiple ways for this. You can go ahead and reach out to your channel advisor, and they'll provide you with details on BeHive and how you can use this. And I see someone is asking if we will provide a link to this presentation. Yes, we'll have that. Presentation is being recorded, and we'll work on that as well.
Hi guys, it'll be available in the at support.blueip.com. So go ahead and log in, and shortly maybe about an hour later, we should have the video posted on your PRC under webinars.
All right, is there any other questions? Can give it another few seconds. All right, I don't see any other questions coming in. So thank you everybody for joining, and I hope this was informative. And if you guys have any other questions after the call, go ahead and reach out to your sales managers, and we'll be happy to respond and get you any information you may need. Thanks everybody for joining. Hope everybody has a great day.